Good morning folks, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. My name is Luna Rhodes, channel name Luna Avengers. So I've just come back from watching Dune Part 2. Now, rolling a few years back, I vividly remember doing the trailer reaction for Dune Part 1 or Dune, and I was so fascinated by the lore, the mythology, and after a bit of research I decided to invest in the franchise and I bought my first book, Dune by Herbert. Now, on watching the first movie in 2021, I was absolutely blown away. I thought the movie was an absolute triumph. It was so visually captivating that you could take a vignette, a still of each frame, and just put it in the Louvre and it would sit seamlessly amongst all the other artwork. I mean, it was just technically outstanding and adorned with fantastic performances, of course sophisticated, brilliant storytelling adapted from the Dune novel. I was completely immersed and invested in this franchise. Now, of course, Dune wasn't for everyone. There was a few detractors. I remember some people saying that, you know, it was a tad slow here and there and somewhat had a bit of inertia and the pacing. But I had to assure people that Dune Part 1 was more or less setting the foundations for what's to come. It was more or less an appetizer. And just to hold fast, just wait for Dune Part 2, because how the story will evolve is going to be nothing but a complete action fest. Now, although I had high expectations for Part 2, on watching this film, my expectations were completely shattered, obliterated. Because I can say unequivocally that Dune Part 2 is visually and narratively a behemoth of a movie. And I'm literally lost for words. This movie is an absolute masterpiece and I refuse to listen to anyone to tell me anything less. This movie is a masterpiece. It's one of the best films that I have watched in years and I am absolutely stunned, emotional and in awe of what they've created here. Following on from its predecessor, we are seamlessly taken back to the textured planet of Arrakis, and somehow they weaved in a tapestry of politics, religion, machinations, evolution, liberation, and crafted a profoundly moving experience. And honestly, I can say that it's an injustice to watch this movie once in the cinema. I'm already booked to watch it again. I'm already booked to watch this movie again. But my goodness, Denis Villeneuve's direction of Dune Part 2 completely exemplifies his masterful storytelling. In this movie, he has showcased his meticulous attention to detail, coupled with his reverence for the source material, which allows him to breathe new life into the iconic story. So I will implore you to go and watch this film if you've not already done so. Now, exceptional direction is always entwined with superb cinematography. The cinematography, similar to the first movie, once again, the framing, the composition, the color palette, the movement of the camera, the lighting, is just outstanding. Greg Fraser's cinematography perfectly captures the sweeping desert vistas to the intimate character moments. It was just absolutely breathtaking. Now, I'm briefly going to touch on the performances because this is more or less a non-spoiler type, just reactionary movie review. Now, let me tell you something. Chalamet, yes, he did well in Dune Part 1, and I consider him to be, you know, a cute young ingenue of an actor. But in this film, now he emotes and goes to an intensity in this movie that I never thought possible. There's a moment when he addresses the War Council and his speech. Oh, are you kidding me? Are you? Okay. He kills it, absolutely nails it. Timothée Chalamet's performance in this movie, hands down, give him the Oscar now. I'm sorry, I know this movie's not even in the award season, but it will be blasphemy for the actors of this film not to get their deserved Oscars, because Timothée Chalamet in this movie Stranger. You absolutely nailed that. And then some. Now, I always say with any movie, craft your damn villain first. Your villain has to be the absolute antithesis of your protagonist. And Austin Butler's performance as Fade Harkonnen. Give them the awards now, okay? He is just psychotic, sinister, malevolent, and he brings, and with all that brings a lot of verisimilitude to the role, to the character. There's even quiet moments where he's just emoting just by expression, and he kills it. He absolutely nails it. And his gravelly deep voice in this film, perfect, just perfect. He completely owns the role and brings his own interpretation of the role, and he just, as I say, completely and utterly nails it. The perfect villain. As for Rebecca Ferguson playing Lady Jessica, whew, wow, what they did with her character, from caring and doting mother to this sinister, almost malevolent character. It's almost shocking to see the transition. So intriguing. I can't say ethereal because she's not ethereal at all in this movie. She absolutely knocks it out of the ballpark, and I am not joking. She is killer in this movie. And Zendaya, who reprises her role as Chani, she is a tour de force in this film, I'm telling you. Although she is, as I say, a tour de force, she plays the character with such grace. There are moments from intense introspection to fantastic action sequences to romance. It's just such a versatile role and such a complex character. And Zendaya will 100% leave a lasting impression on audiences, as she did me in this film. Now, as for the soundscape and the auditory experience of this film, Hans Zimmer, he composed the hell out of this movie. Now, I consider myself to be a bit of a music connoisseur. I love each genre of music and adore musical scores. And Hans Zimmer serves as a powerful narrative force for this film. This film is brimming with sonic textures, also showcasing really strong Middle Eastern vocal performances, and of course thematic variations which just elevated each vignette of this movie. I'm telling you, the motifs in this movie were so captivating, and it just reduced me to tears. It really did. It's so moving. Now, Florence Pugh is one of my faves, and the performance in this movie is Princess Alia. She is very subtle, she's very graceful and ethereal in this movie, and I just loved her very nuanced performance in this film, and I look forward to see how her character will transition in the third installment, I hope. And oh man, there's so much more to talk about this movie. I haven't even touched upon the other ensemble cast members. I mean, this movie is a sci-fi political opera, an absolute masterpiece, which I cannot recommend enough. Go out there, get the biggest screen, IMAX or whatever, go watch this film. I'm going to do more videos on this movie, because I say I haven't even really touched upon the action sequences, because there's brilliant, well choreographed action sequences. And one thing about me, I always sound like a broken record, but I always go on about a well choreographed and effective, thrilling action sequence. And boy, do they pull this off in this movie. Woo! I cannot wait to talk more about this movie. This was just, it's not even a short review. It's just me rattling off the reactionary thoughts of this movie. And there's so much more I want to delve into. There's so much more mythology and lore and expectations for what's to come. But I want to just continue talking about this film. And I'm going to bring in a friend and get his thoughts on this movie as well. And he is a Star Wars aficionado, so it'll be very much interesting to see his take on this film. But I absolutely loved Dune 2. I have just say there's so much more to touch upon. I could go on and on for days and weeks about this movie. Hands down, one of the best movies I've ever seen. And I shall be doing more videos. Hopefully you guys will stick around and watch my videos. And please do give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you very soon, hopefully. Take care for now. Bye. Go watch Dune 2. Adios.